Pokemon Nuzlocke. We've all seen them and we all know them, so I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into it. For the first rule, if a Pokemon faints, it dies, and I can't use it for the rest of the run. I have to catch each first encounter on each route, then I have to name each Pokemon, that way I get attached to it before it dies. And of course, if each Pokemon in my party dies or faints, the entire run is over, and I have to start all the way back from the beginning. Pokemon Fire Red holds a very special place in my heart. It is my first Pokemon game, let alone my first video game that I've ever played. Of course, I originally played it on the Game Boy SP, so I have a lot of game knowledge into it, so I felt very comfortable doing it as my first Nuzlocke. I go ahead and name my rival, of course, my sworn enemy, and then I pick up a Charmander, of course, because it's Fire Red and he's on the cover. I name him King, and we go ahead and start fighting our rival for the first battle. He sends out his Squirtle. I easily defeat his terrible starter of Squirtle, so I go ahead and I head up Route 1 to the Pokestop to pick up Professor Oak's parcel. I go ahead and I give it back to him as he hands me each Pokedex, me and my rival a Pokedex, and tells us to go off on our adventure. I go ahead and head up to my rival's house to pick up a town map from his sister. I go on Route 1, I catch a Pidgey, and name him Kibbles. Now for some context, I'm not going to show every single encounter that I have, but I will show most of the most important ones. But I go ahead, after Route 1, head up to Route 2, and I catch this Rattata. I name him Splinter, obviously after Master Splinter from Team MT, but then I go down to Route 22, I pick up a Mankey and call him Kong. As of course on Route 22, we go ahead and get into our rival battle. He sends out his Pidgey as I send out my Charmander, and I use Ember, which got a really nice critical hit, so I can set down his Pidgey early. Now I know he's going to send out his Squirtle, and I didn't really have anything for it, so I sent out my Mankey because I could probably let him die, but also is good for natural attacks against him. I pretty much spam blow kick till Squirtle dies. I know I forgot to record Viridian Forest, but I did catch a Kakuna, which I evolved into Beedrill, but I didn't even really use that mon. So after defeating my rival and going through Viridian Forest, I head up to the gym immediately to face Brock. I used Metal Claw against his Geodude, which was pretty decent, and I was able to kill him with not taking too much damage. I was feeling confident, so I thought I could take on his Onix with Metal Claw. Little did I know that was a really big mistake, because Rock Tomb was super effective, and it almost killed my Charmander. So that was a little bit too close for Claw for me, so I switched out for Mankey, because I knew his low kick would be super effective. I defeat his Onix, and I go ahead and complete my first gym in my Nuzlocke. Feeling confident because I haven't lost a single Pokemon yet, I was feeling really good. I head up the route, get the running shoes, and I go to the Shady Man in the middle of the Pokemon Center. I pick up a Magikarp from him, and I name him Puppy, because that makes sense. I head through Mount Moon with pretty much ease, and I collect the Helix fossil. Even though I don't even use this run, I just thought it would be cool to include that. I feel very confident after going through Mount Moon and my team looking really strong, so I go ahead and challenge my rival. I send out my Pidgeotto for his Pidgeotto because I didn't really have a type advantage. I use Gus till his Pidgeotto faints, and I go ahead and switch in to my Mankey for his Rattata because I knew Karate Chop would do a lot of damage for it. I know he's going to switch into his Abra, so I switch into my Zubat, which it learned Bite, so I'm able to use the Dark type advantage against it. As he switches into his Squirtle, I go ahead and send back out Mankey because he's been able to deal with his Squirtle very well. I use Karate Chop basically until it dies, and I defeat my rival yet again without losing a single mon. And just like that, I lose my Mankey because I was being stupid. I was at a quarter of health, and I didn't think Poison Sting was going to do that much, but it ended up critting me and killing me. But I did get my get back with Charmeleon with using Ember. Then I go up north of Nugget Bridge, and I catch an Oddish, and I was so lazy I called it Straw B instead of Strawberry. And I go to the west of Nugget Bridge, and I very luckily pick up an Abra, and I name it Kadooks. I head up to Bill's house. I switch him back from whatever weird things he was doing in Pokemon form. He gives me the SS Sand ticket, and of course now I can go back down and challenge Misty. As a kid, for some reason, I always found trouble with Misty and I would always keep wiping to her, but this time I know it wasn't happening. So she sends out her Staryu and I send out my Zubat. As I miss the Supersonic, I keep spamming Wing Attack to kill him. Now I was really low and I didn't think he was going to stand a chance against Starmie. I had to go ahead and switch out for my Oddish that I just evolved right before the fight. So I go ahead and put Sleeping Powder on the Starmie to try to sit there and spam it with Absorb, but it did wake up once, but it was already too late before it even knew what happened to it. I finished my second gym already. Feeling really good, only lost one Pokemon. I head straight over to the SSN and I get into my rival fight. Of course, again, it's another Pidgeotto versus Pidgeotto fight to where I just spam Quick Attack the entire time. I'm able to finish it off kind of quickly and I need to go ahead and switch because he's kind of low. I switch in my Charmeleon for his Eradicate. I use Ember and a Mach Punch to kill it in 2 turns, which is good. I switch into my Kadabra for his War Turtle, which I knew Psybeam was going to be good. I knew he had Bite, which was going to cause a little bit of trouble, but thankfully it didn't kill my Kadabra. So I switch in my Gyarados for his Kadabra, to which I spam Bite with because of the Dark type advantage, and I'm able to defeat my rival yet again with not losing a single Pokemon. Feeling good and picking up Cut from the captain of the SSN, I head right on into Lieutenant Surge's gym. I picked up Diglett from Diglett's cave, and I pretty much just used him for the entire fight because his dig did not stop, completely steamrolled his team. As he sends out his Pikachu, I completely crush him with Dig, then he sends out his Raichu. As a kid, his Raichu always gave me trouble, but this time, my Dig was unmatched. So I defeat Lieutenant Surge, and I finish my 3rd gym. After I wandered through that giant cave, I ended up in Pokemon Tower fighting my rival. As he sends out his Pidgeotto, I use my Diglett to use Dig, where I didn't even know that Dig did not affect, so I had to switch to my Gyarados to finish Pidgeotto off with Dragon Rage. I know I didn't have to switch Gyarados since he was switching in Growlithe, since it's a fire type, my water type move would be super effective. So I used Water Pulse and able to OHKO Growlithe. As he sends in his Execute, I use my Charmeleon for Ember. He does use Hypnosis and put me to sleep, and after using an Awakening, I hop back in and I use Ember and able to finish off the Execute. Send in my Gloom to use Sleeping Powder on the War Turtle to put it to sleep, and then I could just spam Absorb to finish him off. As he sends in his last Pokemon, Kadabra, I send in my Gyarados and I'm able to use Bite to almost OHKO him and defeat my rival yet again, not losing a single Mon. I head west into Celadon Game Corner as an exploding coughing kills my Pidgeotto. Little did I know that wasn't going to be the only exploding coughing that's going to kill a couple of my Pokemon. I grab the lift key from the grunt so I can go ahead and challenge Giovanni. As Giovanni opens up, he sends out his Onix, so I send out my Gyarados. I use Water Pulse to OHKO his Onix as well as his Rhyhorn. I keep my Gyarados out and I keep spamming Water Pulse for his Kangaskhan, and it proves a little bit trouble because I thought it was a ground type and I'm too lazy to even look up what its type is right now, but I ended up beating it with a Dragon Rage, just scraping by 9 HP, which was a little scary, but it was alright. I beat Giovanni and I pick up the Sylph Scope, but before I go to the Pokemon Tower again, I go and challenge the gym leader. Erica really wasn't a big challenge. I used my Arcanine that I just picked up and I put Flamethrower on him, and I'm able to sweep out the Victory Bell, Tangela, and the Vileplume. I didn't want to use Charmeleon because I didn't want him to accidentally get killed just in case, but I paralyzed my Arcanine before the fight so I didn't have to deal with any of the poison bullshit. I received my 4th gym badge with a lot of ease, and then I head back out east to the Pokemon Tower, to where I have to switch the Ghost into Marowak using the Sylph Scope, and then I save Mr. Pokemon, and I lead him back down to the nursery, and he gives me the Poke Flute, which I never use. So after receiving the Poke Flute, I'm now in the mid game, which takes a long time for a lot of random things, and the level gaps just jump up a lot. So I go through Silph Co with relative ease till I meet my rival. I level up all my Pokemon according to his ace, which is 41, before anyone goes, "Oh, you're over leveling your Pokemon," in the comments. No, his ace is 41, okay? Anyways, back to the battle. I destroy his Pidgeot with my Jolteon, and then I send out my Gyarados for his Growlithe. I use Hydro Pump, which is an easy OHKO. As he sends out his Execute, I send out my Charizard, and I easily kill him with the Flamethrower. He switches to his Blastoise as I switch to my Jolteon. He uses Protect because he's scared because he knows I'm about to absolutely destroy his entire team. So I get the Thunder off, I paralyze him too. It takes a whole nother turn just to kill him. Then he sends out his Alakazam, I send out my Gyarados, and I usually use Bite to finish him off. After my rival takes another pitiful defeat, I go ahead and pick up the Lapras and I name him Skips. Then I head upstairs to fight Giovanni. The only thing that's standing in my way and the Master Ball I'm never going to use is Giovanni. So for some reason I didn't remember to switch my Jolteon out, but my Thunder did a lot of damage that I didn't think it was going to do with Nidorino. So I kill his Nidorino. As he sends out his Nidoqueen, I switch in my Kadabra. I easily use Psychic to lower its health, and then I kill it on the second attack. He sends out his Kangaskhan again, and the only Pokemon I really have to take as much damage as it deals was Gyarados, but his Hydro Pump was dealing a lot of damage, and I was very grateful for that. I use Water Pulse on the second turn because I wasn't willing to take that risk for the Hydro Pump to miss, and then I easily kill his Rhydon. I head down to Fuchsia City, I go to the Safari Zone, pick up a Nidorino, pick up Surf, and then I immediately battle Koga. Koga was extremely easy because I picked up that Abra, and I never thought this battle would be so easy. I was really worried about this battle before starting this Nuzlocke, but I didn't think I was going to catch the Abra, but thankfully I did. All of his Pokemon fall to a very easy Psychic, and now before anyone says it's over leveled since it's 41, his Weezing right here is level 43, so technically I was under leveled for this gym battle. But anyways, I finish the 5th gym with another ease fight. I head back up to face Sabrina's gym, and I honestly didn't really have a lot of super effective moves except for Bite on Gyarados, so I was just kind of relying on the attack stat for most of my Pokemon. But easily Gyarados took down their Kadabra with using Bite. I sent out Kadabra to use Shadow Ball against Mr. Mime. I didn't really have anything with Gyarados on him, so I felt like using Kadabra, and I felt like that would be a good move. Knowing that future side attack is about to hit, I switched to my Charizard that can easily tank that attack, and also used Flamethrower to OHKO Venomon. And then I knew the Alakazam was coming in, so I switched back into my Gyarados, trying to deal as much damage as I could. As Sabrina and I both heal stalled for a little bit, I had to switch into Kadabra because I didn't have any more Hyper Potions. So I used Shadow Ball, which easily killed Alakazam, earning me my 6th gym badge with another no Pokemon loss. Basically speedrunning the game at this point. I'm going to finish it off with the 7th gym to where I have probably one of the easiest runs as I picked up 3 water type Pokemon. I had my Gyarados, then I picked up the Lapras, and then I picked up a Tentacool on the way over to the 7th gym. I easily walk through this with Surf on Gyarados, and I used Rainy Day on his Ponyta because I knew it would be an easy swap into my Tentacool, because out of all the Pokemon I wanted to lose, I would be okay with losing the Tentacool I just picked up. So I kind of just Surf spam through the gym, able to take the gym badge. His Rapidash along with his Arcanine are not able to withstand the power of Surf and Hydro Pump, so I easily take the 7th gym badge. I keep the same lineup for the 8th gym because it was a ground type gym, and I knew Giovanni's Pokemon were mostly weak to all water type attacks, so I keep my Gyarados out for first, able to defeat his Rhydon. My Gyarados is unstoppable, kills this Ace Rhyhorn, goes in, another Surf to Dugtrio. takes care of his Nidoqueen with yet another Surf as I switch into Lapras for his Nidoking. One Hydro Pump is all it takes after tanking an Earthquake from Nidoking, and there I go and have the 8th batch ready for the league. As in testament to see if I'm ready for the Elite Four, my rival challenges me to one last battle. He sends out his Pidgeot as I send out my Jolteon and use Thunder to OHKO his Pidgeot. He sends out his Rhyhorn, I send out my Lapras as a Hydro Pump takes it down. His Execute falls to my Charizard from a Flamethrower. My Jolteon sent back out to take care of his Blastoise as it again OHKOs it with Thunder. I send back out my Gyarados for his Growlithe so I can use Surf on him. I keep my Gyarados out because I know I'm facing his Alakazam. He uses Calm Mind while I go ahead and use Bite. He disables my Bite, so I have to go ahead and use a Hydro Pump. As he tries to disable the Hydro Pump again, I use Bite again. And just like that, my rival is defeated, and now it's time for the Elite Four. After that battle, heading into the Elite Four, confident as ever, my team has finally come together. Every Pokemon fully evolved as I could. Every Pokemon fit with a really good moveset. This is the point of no return, and I'm going all in. For L'Oreal, I start out with my Jolteon. I know Jolteon could probably wipe the entire team. I use Thunder to take out Dewong. Thunder again to take out the Cloyster. I use a Thunderbolt to take out the Slowbro. Then I go ahead and take out the Lapras as well with Thunder. As Jinx comes in, I try to use Thunderbolt, but it didn't do as much as I thought it would, so I had to switch it out. I switched to my Lapras as I kept using Surf to get it away. As she kept heal stalling, I was finally able to finish her Jinx with the Surf. L'Oreal down, 3 more to go to the champion. Now we start off with Bruno. Bruno has always been the joke of the Elite Four, and I didn't take this fight seriously, and it costed me in the long run, but we'll get to that later. His Onix went down with one Surf. As he took out his Hitmonchan, I kept using Surf to take him down as well. A single Surf is able to take Hitmonchan down after all of his heal stalling. Bruno sends in his Machamp as well as I send in my Lapras, and this is where the biggest mistakes come in. A super effective critical hit Cross Chop kills my Lapras. I was a little bit in trouble. I still had Lance to come up, and I lost my Ice type Pokemon. I did have Blizzard with Gyarados, so I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I knew things were about to get hairy. His Ace Machamp taken down by my Kadabra, he sends out Hitmonlee, and I'm able to use Psychic to OHKO it again. His Onix comes out, and I forgot to switch Pokemon, but I used Psychic and lucked out. After getting my Lapras killed due to my stupidity, I wasn't feeling too confident, but Agatha was a whole nother story. I sent out my Charizard to deal with its Gengar. After heal stalling for a while, I was finally able to kill the Gengar. I sent out my Jolteon for Golbat and easily able to defeat it. I send out my Kadabra to kill its Arbok with Psychic. Then my Charizard comes back out to kill her second Gengar. And then I use my Jolteon to finish Agatha off with Thunderbolt. Agatha goes down, and then I head into Lance's room. Lance, I was going into thinking about his Soul Silver team with 3 Dragonites, and I thought I was going to wipe here. But I forgot his Fire Red team was completely different. So I send out my Gyarados for his Gyarados and spam up Dragon Dance. I switch into my Jolteon, and I use Thunderbolt to KO Gyarados. His Dragonair comes out, and I keep my Jolteon out and just try to do a lot of damage to it, but I didn't really have a super effective move on it. With Jolteon getting dangerously close to dying, I switched to my Charizard to use Flamethrower to take care of the Dragonair. He switched into his Aerodactyl, which kept using Ancient Power, which gave him a bunch of buffs, which was really not looking good for me. But I kept spamming Surf to lower his health, and finally he went down. As luck and full restores are on my side, I finish his Dragonair off with spamming Surf, and his Dragonite comes out, and I hit a crazy blizzard that kills him, and it sends me to my rival. And just like that, it all comes to an end. This is the last shot, the last thing to do, the last battle I'll ever have in this Nuzlocke. I straight up panicked, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't thinking straight, I was nervous because I've never been this far. I sent out my Gyarados against his Pidgeot, which was a stupid move. I missed my Hydro Pump, so I switched my Jolteon in, and I used Thunderbolt, which I knew would kill. He switches into his Rhydon, and I use my Gyarados for Surf to OHKO it. Another stupid move here is I use my Nidoking, almost gets killed, but I use an Earthquake to kill his Alakazam. Jolteon comes back to carry the team and uses Thunder to OHKO the Blastoise. Gyarados comes out and is able to wipe out Arcanine after spamming heals and extreme speeds from my rival. With all good things coming to an end, he sends out his last Pokemon, and I send out my starter Pokemon for a fitting end. He uses Flamethrower to finish off his Executor, and finally, I have beat it. I have finished my first Pokemon Nuzlocke. I had so much fun replaying this game again, and honestly it's making me fall in love back into all the Pokemon games. So check my channel out, who knows, maybe an Emerald Pokemon Nuzlocke might be coming out soon. But thank you for today for watching the video, and I hope all of you liked it. And I know I made a lot of stupid moves, but at the end of the day I finally finished a Pokemon Nuzlocke. Peace.